Welcome to this SQL and Database Fundamentals Study Guide, Part 4 of 4 from TestMole.com, where employers can test candidates and teams using pre-built or custom assessments. We also create free tests and guides like this. Please help us by liking this video. Subscribe for more study guides and free tests. And turn on notifications. Okay, let's begin. What does ACID stand for in database transactions? Select all that apply. ACID is a foundational set of properties that guarantee database transactions are processed reliably. These properties ensure data integrity even in the event of errors, power failures, or system crashes. Atomicity, the all-or-nothing principle. A transaction is treated as a single unit. If any part fails, the entire transaction is rolled back. Consistency ensures the database remains in a valid state before and after the transaction, adhering to all defined rules, constraints, and triggers. Isolation. Transactions occur independently of one another. Even if multiple transactions run concurrently, the final state should be the same as if they were executed sequentially. Durability. Once a transaction is committed, it remains permanent, even in the event of a system failure. Possible answers are A. Atomicity, B. Consistency, C. Isolation, D. Durability. The answer is A, B, C, and D. All four options are correct because they represent the standard acronym for transaction reliability in relational database management systems. Can a table have more than one primary key? A primary key is a unique identifier for a row within a table. By definition, a table can have only one primary key constraint. However, this constraint can be applied to a single column or a combination of multiple columns, which is known as a composite key. Single column key, a unique ID, e.g., employee ID. Composite key, a combination of columns that together uniquely identify a row, e.g., order ID and product ID in an order details table. The options are A. Yes, B. No, but it can have a composite key made of multiple columns. The answer is B. A table is restricted to a single primary key constraint, but that constraint can span multiple columns to ensure uniqueness for the record. Is where country equals USA or country equals UK equivalent to where country n, USA, UK? The OR operator and the AND operator are logically equivalent when filtering for multiple values in the same column. Where country equals USA or country equals UK checks each row against both conditions individually. Where country n, USA, UK achieves the same result by checking if the column value exists within the provided set. Using IN is generally preferred for readability and maintainability, especially when the list of values grows long, as it avoids repetitive column references. Here are the options. A. Yes. B. No. The answer is A. Both expressions evaluate the same logical condition, making them functionally identical in SQL execution. Which statement is true? Understanding the order of operations in SQL is critical for data retrieval. The where and having clauses serve different purposes based on when they are applied during query execution. Refer to the diagram on screen. Where, applied to individual rows before any grouping occurs. It is used to filter out data that shouldn't be part of the calculation. Having, applied after rows have been grouped and aggregate functions, like sum or count, have been calculated. It is used to filter the resulting groups. Here are the options. A. Having filters rows before grouping. B. Where filters rows before grouping, having filters groups after aggregation. C. They are interchangeable. D. Having only works with strings. The answer is B. Where filters source data before aggregation, while having acts as a filter on the results produced by aggregate functions. Can a unique constraint column contain a null value? A unique constraint ensures that all values in a column are different from one another. However, how null values are handled depends on the specific SQL dialect, e.g., PostgreSQL, SQL Server, MySQL. In most standard relational databases, null is considered unknown rather than a specific value. Therefore, many systems allow multiple null entries in a unique column because null is not equal to another null. However, some specific implementations may restrict this to a single null value. Here are the options. A. Yes, depending on the database system. Usually one null is allowed. B. No. The answer is A. Because null represents an unknown value rather than a data value, most database engines permit nulls in unique columns, often allowing multiple instances. What does the concat function do? The concat function is a fundamental string manipulation tool used to combine, or concatenate, multiple text strings into a single string. Syntax: concat string 1, string 2. Use case: useful for merging fields like first name and last name into a single full name column. Behavior: it treats each input as a segment and appends them in the order provided. Possible answers are: A. Splits a string. B. Joins two or more strings together. C. Converts a string to uppercase. D. Finds a substring. The answer is B. This is the correct function for merging strings. Other options describe different operations: splitting strings, like substring or split; changing case, like upper; or searching, like or instr. Which is the correct syntax for finding records where phone has a value? In SQL, null represents the absence of a value or unknown data. Because null is not a value, it cannot be compared using standard equality operators like equals or equals. The rule: always use is null or is not null when filtering for missing or present data. Comparison: using equals null will return an empty result set because SQL evaluates the comparison against null as unknown rather than true or false. Choose between A. Where phone equals null. B. Where phone is not null. C. Where phone not empty. D. Where phone has value. The answer is B. SQL requires the is operator for null checks. Using equals is syntactically incorrect for nulls, while not empty and has value are not standard SQL keywords. What defines a natural join? A natural join is a shorthand join that simplifies query writing by removing the need to explicitly define join conditions. Mechanism: the database engine inspects the schema of both tables. Requirement: it automatically identifies all columns that share the exact same name and compatible data types. Result: it performs an inner join based on those matching columns, effectively acting as a join on all common fields. The options are: A. It only joins tables with organic data. B. It automatically joins tables based on columns with the same name and data type. C. It is a join that doesn't use the join keyword. D. It is a join that only works on primary keys. The answer is B. This join relies on column name matching rather than explicit on clauses. It is not limited to primary keys, and it does use the join keyword. In some SQL versions, what does the replace into statement do? The replace into statement is a MySQL-specific extension that acts as a smart insert. It is designed to handle primary key or unique index collisions automatically. Logic: if a record with the same primary key already exists, the database deletes the old record and inserts the new one. Advantage: it prevents duplicate entry errors without requiring a separate delete or update command. Choose between A. It renames a table. B. It inserts a record or deletes and reinserts if the key exists. C. It replaces a specific character in a string. D. It replaces one table with another. The answer is B. This command handles key conflicts by overriding existing records. It is unrelated to string replacement functions or table renaming operations. What is the result of substring SQL Tutorial 1.3? The substring function extracts a portion of a string based on a starting position and a specified length. Syntax: substring, string, start, length. Indexing: in most SQL dialects, string indexing starts at 1. Execution: substring SQL Tutorial 1.3 starts at the first character, S, and captures a total of 3 characters, S, Q, L. Here are the options. A. Tut. B. SQL. C. QL. D. EL. The answer is B. Starting at index 1 and taking 3 characters returns SQL. The other options represent incorrect starting points or lengths. What is the purpose of select into? The select into statement is a powerful tool for data manipulation and schema creation. It allows you to create a new table based on the result set of a query. Functionality: it selects data from an existing table and inserts it into a new table that is created on the fly. Use case: this is frequently used for creating backups of tables, archiving data, or creating temporary subsets of data for reporting without affecting the original source table. Syntax note: the new table's columns inherit the data types and names from the source table's columns. Possible answers are: A. To move data from one database to another file. B. To copy data from one table into a new table. C. To update existing rows. D. To insert rows manually. The answer is B. This is the correct definition because select into creates a new table structure and populates it with the query results. Other options are incorrect because they describe standard insert operations, update statements, or file export utilities rather than table-to-table creation. How would you select products with a price not between 10 and 20? The between operator is used to filter results within a specific inclusive range. To exclude that range, SQL provides the not between operator. Inclusive nature: between includes both the start and end values. Logic: not between acts as the logical negation, returning all values strictly less than the lower bound or strictly greater than the upper bound. Readability: using not between is generally preferred over complex and/or logic for better code maintainability. The options are: A. Where price not between 10 and 20. B. Where price outside 10, 20. C. Where price equals 10 to 20. D. Where price less than 10 and price greater than 20. The answer is A. Using not between is the standard SQL syntax for excluding a range. While price less than 10 and price greater than 20 might logically seem correct, it is syntactically invalid because a single value cannot be both less than 10 and greater than 20 simultaneously. What does onDelete cascade mean for a foreign key? Referential integrity is maintained through foreign key constraints. OnDelete cascade is a specific action that defines how the database should handle related records when a parent record is removed. Parent-child relationship: a parent table holds the primary key, while a child table holds the foreign key referencing that primary key. Cascade effect: when a parent row is deleted, the database automatically removes all child rows that reference that parent, preventing orphaned records. Alternative: if onDelete set null were used, the foreign key in the child rows would become null instead of the rows being deleted. Let's review the options. A. It prevents deletion of the parent row. B. If a parent row is deleted, the related child rows are also deleted. C. It renames the child rows. D. It sets child rows to null. The answer is B. This correctly identifies the cascading behavior where the deletion propagates to dependent records. Other options describe different constraints, such as restricting deletions or modifying child columns to null. What is a candidate key? In relational database design, a candidate key is a fundamental concept for ensuring data uniqueness. Definition: a candidate key is a column or a minimal set of columns that can uniquely identify any row in a table. Selection: a table may have multiple candidate keys. One of these is chosen to be the primary key, while the others are referred to as alternate keys. Requirements: to qualify as a candidate key, the column must be unique and cannot contain null values. The options are A. A key waiting to be imported. B. Any column or set of columns that can uniquely identify a row. C. A key that is used only for encryption. D. A key that contains null values. The answer is B. This is the correct definition of a candidate key. Other options are incorrect because candidate keys must be unique, cannot contain nulls, and are not specific to encryption or import processes. Which of the following are valid SQL logical operators? Select all that apply. Logical operators are the building blocks of complex filtering in SQL. They allow you to combine multiple conditions in a where clause to refine your data retrieval. And returns true only if all conditions separated by the operator are true. Or returns true if at least one of the conditions is true. Not reverses the logical value of the condition it precedes. These operators follow a specific order of precedence, typically not first, then, and then, or, though parentheses should always be used to ensure clarity and correct evaluation order. The options are A and, B or, C not, D XOR. The answer is A, B, and C. And, or, and not are the standard logical operators used in SQL. XOR is not a standard SQL operator supported across all major database management systems. How are null values usually handled in an order by ASC sort? In SQL, null represents the absence of a value. Because null is not equal to any value, not even another null, the SQL standard does not strictly define its position during sorting. Consequently, database management systems (DBMS) implement their own default behaviors. Database default null behavior in ASC. MySQL/MariaDB first, treated as smallest. PostgreSQL last. Oracle last. SQL Server first. To ensure consistent results across different platforms, developers should use the nulls first or nulls last syntax explicitly in their order by clause. Choose between A. They appear first. B. They appear last. C. They are excluded from the results. D. It depends on the database, e.g., MySQL puts them first, Oracle puts them last. The answer is D. Because SQL standards leave null sorting behavior to the implementation, there is no universal rule. Options suggesting they always appear first or last are incorrect because they ignore the platform-specific nature of SQL engines, and nulls are never excluded from results unless explicitly filtered out. What is a non-equi join? A join is typically associated with the equality operator, equal sign, which matches rows based on identical values in related columns. A non-equi join expands this by using comparison operators other than equality to link tables. Common use cases include range matching, linking a sales transaction to a tax bracket table where the amount falls between a minimum and maximum value. Data comparisons, comparing rows within the same table or different tables to find values that are strictly greater or less than one another. Refer to the diagram on screen. Let's review the options. A join that uses operators other than equal sign, e.g., comma, between. B. A join that has no matching columns. C. A join performed on different databases. D. A join that returns no rows. The answer is A. Non-equi joins are defined by the use of inequality or range operators rather than strict equality. Other options are incorrect because they describe unrelated concepts like cross-joins, distributed queries, or empty result sets. What is the main requirement of the first normal form, 1 nanofarad? First normal form, 1 nanofarad, is the foundational step in database normalization, ensuring that a table is structured to be efficiently queried and updated. To satisfy 1 nanofarad, a table must meet two primary criteria. Atomicity: each column must contain only single, indivisible values. You cannot store lists, arrays, or comma-separated strings within a single cell. Uniqueness: every row must be unique, typically enforced by a primary key, and there should be no repeating groups of columns, e.g., phone 1, phone 2, phone 3. Adhering to 1 nanofarad prevents data redundancy and simplifies the process of filtering and aggregating data. Possible answers are: A. No duplicate rows and every column must contain atomic, indivisible values. B. The table must have a foreign key. C. All columns must be strings. D. The table must be linked to at least two other tables. The answer is A. 1 nanofarad focuses on data integrity through atomicity and uniqueness. The other options are incorrect because foreign keys are a requirement for relational integrity, not 1 nanofarad, and there is no restriction on data types or the number of tables involved. Thanks for watching. With TestMole.com, you get everything in one place, from easy candidate invites and role-based access, to deep analytics and built-in anti-cheat mechanics. We'll assess code answers, free text responses, and issue verified certificates. Ready to simplify your hiring? Give TestMole a try. And one more thing. If you like this video and want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe.